The stunning order that rocked the Brown family, the gavel came down. The courtroom came to a halt. And in one breath, Kody Brown's life was turned upside down. The judge leaned forward, his voice stern, deliberate, and unyielding. "Mr. Brown, in light of the gravity of these charges and the possibility you will seek to leave this jurisdiction, you are ordered to turn over your passport forthwith." The words reverberated like a thunderclap. Gasps spread through the audience. Christine's eyes opened wide. Janelle whispered in shock. Meri looked away, struggling to suppress a grim smile. And Robyn, the once unapproachable, tearful favorite, grasped Kody's arm in horror. Kody sat rigid, his face white, his jaw clenched. A man who had once vaunted freedom, control, and power was now imprisoned. The cameras recorded every moment. The man who boasted of creating a family empire now appeared to be a man with secrets. The question that erupted on social media was swift and ominous. Why would a judge have Kody Brown hand over his passport? And is he trying to escape? This was not just trial theatrics. This was the culmination of years of rumor, financial impropriety, IRS rumor, land scams, medical scams, car scams, allegations of manipulation, favoritism, and betrayal. For years, Kody had pushed his wife's fury aside, disregarded his children's pleading and assured the cameras he was the boss. But now, control was getting away from him. The judge's order wasn't merely a judicial decision, it was a public statement that something was severely, severely amiss. Fans descended upon social media. What is Kody hiding? Why would they assume he'd flee? This family is over, he's finished. And the scariest theory of all? Was Kody Brown already plotting his escape to another country? Stay with me, because in this deep dive we'll uncover what led to the shocking courtroom passport order. Why the judge believed Kody might try to run. How Robyn, Christine, Janelle, and Meri reacted to the ruling. And the explosive climax where Kody finally cracks under pressure. By the time we're finished, you'll be wondering the same thing that fans worldwide are arguing about? Is Kody Brown planning his final escape? How years of scandal brought about Kody's passport surrender. The directive didn't appear suddenly. Judges do not require passports unless there's a suspicion that someone is willing to flee, and in the case of Kody Brown, the proof was piling up. The IRS whispers for months, rumors had circulated about the Browns' money. Tax liens, late payments, dodgy business dealings. Fans saw the signs, unpaid property taxes on Coyote Pass, rumors of secret bank accounts, and dubious business filings under Kody's name. Insiders in court said that the IRS had discreetly opened an investigation, following millions of unreported income and unidentified expenses. It wasn't sloppy accounting. It was patterns, account transfers, unidentified withdrawals, and property transactions that were suspicious. Christine had once quipped, "If a judge saw our books, Kody would be done." Now, that was a prophecy. The land fraud allegations Coyote Pass, the vision property Kody vowed would bring the family together, was a nightmare. Documents indicated conflicting titles, unpaid charges, and questionable transfers of ownership. One wife's name would disappear from the deed only to be replaced by another's weeks later. Insiders buzzed that it was less like family planning, and more like a shell game to conceal assets. Practical Janelle had become more and more frustrated. Where is the money going, Kody? Who owns what? Why can't we get straight answers? She stormed during one explosive argument. The silence was deafening. The car and medical frauds, the little but equally suspicious scandals then unfolded. Car fraud. There were allegations that luxury cars had been bought in the names of Brown children, but never settled. When Logan found out his credit was ruined by one of these deals, he apparently made a police report. Medical fraud. Doctor bills for procedures that never occurred, insurance claims that did not correlate with medical records. Although the wives wrote it off as mistakes, the pattern was evident. Money was flowing in odd directions. Every accusation, every irregularity, every unpaid obligation created a picture, a man trapped by his own network of deceptions. The wives' betrayals, but the final nail in the coffin came from within the family. Christine, Janelle, and even Meri, frustrated with years of favoritism and indifference, started working with lawyers. Files emerged, receipts, contracts, emails. The type of evidence that doesn't embarrass a person? It indicts them. Christine, keen and fearless, said to producers in private, "He's not only playing us. He's playing the system. And if the system catches up with him, he'll run." Those words, which rang in court, formed part of the judge's decision. The judge's fear by the time Kody appeared in court, evidence wasn't merely messy, but incriminating. The IRS was closing in. State authorities were scrutinizing Coyote Pass. Police reports associated with Logan were documented. And the wives' accounts provided a portrait of manipulation, dishonesty, and fiscal mayhem. The judge didn't pull any punches. This court has reason to believe Mr. Brown is a flight risk. His finances are uncertain, his assets are tenuous, and testimony indicates that he has talked about beginning anew elsewhere. And then the directive? Kody Brown is required to turn in his passport. The build-up was over. Years of favoritism, deceit, and broken trust had finally reached its climax. And now, with the entire world watching, one question resonated louder than ever before: was Kody Brown on the run before justice could catch up to him? Suspicion and paranoia, the wives, children, and fans ask, is Kody escaping? As soon as the judge told Kody Brown to hand over his passport, everything changed. It wasn't a mere legal technicality. It was a message, to the court, to the family, to the fans and the world. Someone thought that Kody was willing to run. And as soon as that seed of suspicion was sown, it took root quickly. The wives whispered fears. Christine was the first to say what everyone else was thinking. In a charged confrontation with producers, she leaned forward, eyes intense, voice husky. Does anybody really believe that Kody would remain and battle this? He's always been control-oriented. If he loses control here, he'll gain it elsewhere. Janelle, the pragmatist, was less talkative but no less intimidated. She explained to her children late one evening, if he vanishes, don't be surprised. He's not the man who owns up. He's the guy who runs from it. And Meri? She didn't say much. But the expression in her eyes, that haunted, hollow look of a woman who'd endured Kody's betrayals for decades, spoke volumes. She'd watched him leave before. She knew he could do it again. Robyn's nervous defense. Robyn, though, refused to accept it. She grasped denial like a life raft. Kody would never leave me. Kody would never leave the kids. But her voice shook. Her eyes flickered. Even as she spoke up for him, she kept her eye on him, the way he dodged questions, the way he paced through long nights, the way his phone vibrated with messages he wouldn't tell her about. Each denial Robyn made the suspicion run deeper. Because deep in her heart she knew, Kody wasn't above fleeing. Strange signs of flight. It wasn't paranoia. Strange signs started to appear. A neighbor swore they caught a glimpse of Kody late one evening, piling boxes into his truck. Christine's daughter insisted she heard him on the phone discussing a new beginning someplace else. A family friend said Kody asked them about global real estate prospects. Separately, the tales could be explained away. In concert, they created a horrifying image, an escape plan underway. The children's fear. The children saw it too. Logan, already seething over financial deceptions, turned icier by the day. If he flees, he said to a friend, I want them to arrest him. He does not get to leave again. Aurora, torn between loyalty and terror, burst into tears. He won't leave us, would he? He can't. He promised. Her words repeated the anxiety of every child in the family. Promises had been broken before. Why should this time be an exception? Fans joined the speculation, and outside the family gates, the fans broke down every detail. On Twitter threads, YouTube reaction videos, and forums, the speculation went viral. Why would the judge demand a surrender of passport unless they believed he'd escape? What are in those boxes that he's loading? If Kody escapes, does Robyn go with him? Or does she remain? Paranoia became suspicion. Suspicion became obsession. The world wasn't observing Kody Brown any longer, they were stalking for evidence of his flight. The unanswered question. The family was not only broken by betrayal, but by fear by this point. Everything Kody did was questioned. Everything that came out of his mouth was second-guessed. And in American living rooms everywhere, fans posed the same spine-tingling question the judge had posed in court. Is Kody Brown really going to make a run for it? Robyn's panic, from denial to desperation. Robyn's world collapses. Robyn was always the rock-solid one on Kody's side. When the other wives distanced themselves, when the children turned on him, when fans jeered at him, she remained by his side. She wept, she begged, she defended, because in her head, she was the sole wife who ever counted to him. But when the judge's decree, hand over the passport, came, that confidence started to crumble. Grasping at denial at first, Robyn downplayed it. She told her children, her friends, even the cameras, it's just a formality. Kody would never flee. He's too strong, too devoted. This is all a misunderstanding. But her tone revealed her. She stuttered. She repeated herself. The words were like a person trying to talk themselves into a lie. Behind closed doors, Robyn started observing Kody more closely. His midnight phone calls. His secretive text messages. The way he would not meet her eye when she questioned him. Every move now seemed suspect. The desperate pleas. As the days went by, her denial became desperation. One evening, cameras recorded her collapsing in their bedroom. Please, Kody. Tell me you're not going. Tell me you're not going to go. I can't raise these kids by myself. I can't go on without you. Kody did not reply immediately. He looked at the floor, speechless. And it was in that quiet that Robyn's tears consumed the space. Cracks in the marriage. For the first time ever, Robyn experienced what Meri, Christine, and Janelle had experienced for years: abandonment. She saw him spend fewer hours at home. He barked at her questions. He distanced himself from the children. The man she'd fought to the death for now felt like a stranger. And worse, a stranger she dreaded might disappear. The children's terror, Robyn's fear, contaminated the household. Aurora clung to her mother, sobbing, "He wouldn't leave us, Mom. He promised." But even the younger children sensed the tension. They asked why Dad was always so angry, why Mom was always crying, why people were constantly whispering about passports and judges. Robyn attempted to reassure them, but it was no use. Her tears spoke the truth. The secret search at her lowest point, Robyn allegedly scoured Kody's possessions, digging through drawers, searching his computer, sneaking peeks at his phone when he was distracted. What she discovered wasn't definitive, but it was frightening: open travel websites on the computer. International property listings saved as bookmarks. Emails regarding liquidating assets quickly. To anybody else, it might have been coincidence. To Robyn, it was proof. The man she believed in was plotting his getaway. The breaking point at last. Cameras recorded the point at which her terror erupted. In a family gathering, her voice shaking, she accused in front of everyone, "The judge confiscated your passport because they believe you'll flee, and I think you might, too." Everyone was silent. Kody's face turned dark. The other wives gazed, aghast. For years Robyn had stood up for him. Now, in a single panicked outburst, she accused him of the one thing the world was most afraid of. Robyn's panic was not only emotional. It was infectious. It ran through the family like wildfire. Everyone was finally asking the same question. Was Robyn correct? Was Kody Brown leaving them all behind? Chapter 5. The wives unite. Christine, Janelle, and Meri turned their anger into action. The sister wives were fractured for years. Christine struggled against being ignored. Janelle held fast to pragmatism. Meri seethed in silence, and Robyn, the alleged pet, soaked up Kody's shield. But the judge's decree turned it all around. Christine's call to arms. Christine had always been the vociferous one. The wife who was brave enough to speak what the others whispered only. When word came out that Kody's passport had been seized, she viewed it not only as vindication, but as opportunity. "This is it," she said to Janelle on the phone, her voice cutting with resolve. "The system finally recognizes what we've known for years. He can't keep hiding. He can't keep running. It's time we fight back together." For the first time, Janelle didn't push back. She complied. Janelle's financial firepower. Janelle, the one who had kept track of the family's tangled web of bills, loans, and taxes, came armed with numbers. She brought binders to meetings, spreadsheets to courtrooms, proof of every dollar funneled unfairly into Robyn's household. Her frustration spilled out in one fiery exchange caught on camera: "We've spent hundreds of thousands keeping Robyn comfortable while the rest of us sacrificed. And now Kody wants us to believe he's the victim? No. He created this mess, and he's going to answer for it." Her evidence gave Christine's fury structure. Meri's silent revenge, and then there was Meri. The wife who had endured the most humiliation. The woman Kody had openly dismissed. For years, she was mocked for staying, pitted for her silence. But when the court order was issued, Meri's silence finally broke. Trembling with anger, she said, "He always believed I was too weak to fight back. Well, he's soon going to find out how wrong he was." Her quiet revenge was the sharpest knife of them all. United front together, Christine, Janelle, and Meri created something that no one thought existed: a united front. Christine contributed the passion. Janelle brought the proof. Meri brought the cold, unyielding rage. For the first time, the courtroom witnessed them not as adversaries destroying one another, but as teammates shoulder to shoulder against an enemy. And Kody? For the first time in years, he appeared trapped. Robyn's isolation. At the same time, Robyn was stuck in her own fear. She had forever been Kody's protector, his guardian. But now, even she doubted him. Seeing the other wives come together as her husband's secrets were revealed left her alone, torn between loyalty and survival. Her tears did no longer sway the court. Her words no longer silenced the others. She was alone, vulnerable, and helpless. The turning tide. The husband's solidarity charged the courtroom. The judge leaned forward, interested. Press reporters wrote frantically. He caught on fast. Fans in the gallery whispered, "This is it. This is the end of Kody Brown." The tide had shifted. The man who once ruled every wife with fear, manipulation, or favoritism was now confronting all of them, collectively. And he knew it. The stage was being set for the final showdown. The wives had come together, the evidence was piling up, and the judge was poised to hand down the most explosive ruling ever. The only thing left was, would Kody contest? Or would he finally crack? Public backlash and media storm. When Kody's embarrassment goes viral, news broke quicker than the Browns could catch up. Less than minutes after the judge issued Kody's passport order, the tabloids splashed the front page headline across all feeds: Judge demands Kody Brown hand over passport, flight risk? From gossip sites to mainstream media, they were all reporting on it. The embarrassing detail, that Kody couldn't even be relied upon to possess a passport, became the focal point of a public firestorm. The internet exploded. Social media enthusiasts wasted no time picking apart the drama. TikTok was inundated with reactions from Christine, Janelle, and Meri in court. Twitter threads speculated over which country Kody was going to flee to. Memes lampooned him ruthlessly. A photoshopped Kody carrying a suitcase and pretend mustache, captioned, "Catch me if you can." A viral video repeating the gavel slam with the phrase, "Passport revoked. Ego revoked." Fan-made hashtags on a global trend, hashtag Kody on the run and hashtag passport pulled. The humiliation was not private anymore. It was international. Talk shows and headlines. Daytime talk shows flared up with the story. Hosts argued, what does it say about a man when a judge believes he'll flee from his own family? Aren't Robyn the faithful soulmate? Why is even she questioning him now? Will TLC continue to document this train wreck, or will they actually cut the cord? Magazines labeled it the largest sister-wives controversy since Christine departed. Tabloids dubbed Kody the fugitive husband. Even late-night talk show hosts jumped into the fray, ridiculing his trophy wife delusion and now his trophy passport. Legal experts comment. Legal commentators on news networks broke down the seriousness of the order. One attorney succinctly put it, judges don't confiscate passports unless there is credible evidence of a flight risk. This isn't soap opera, this is serious. If Kody attempts to flee now, he could be jailed. Another emphasized, the fact that his own wives have turned against him lends weight to the case. The judge is not acting on hearsay. There's documentation, there's testimony, and there's a pattern. The courthouse drama was not just reality TV anymore. It was real-world justice. Robyn's public image shifts. Robyn had been established for years as the favorite wife, sometimes sympathized with, frequently despised. But now, her emotional response to the passport order went viral. Videos of her clinging to Kody's arm, muttering, "Don't leave me," were posted millions of times. Some fans empathized, she's finally realizing the man for what he is. My heart breaks for her. Others were merciless, she contributed to this beast. Now she gets to live with it. Either way, Robyn was no longer above criticism. She was part of the scandal. The wives' redemption arc. While Kody seethed in headlines, Christine, Janelle, and Meri started looking like heroes. Recordings of Christine's blazing courtroom rant went viral. Janelle's economic proof was touted as the smoking gun. Meri's soft-spoken but crushing words, "Now you know, Robyn," became a trending audio on TikTok. The wives weren't viewed as victims of Kody for the first time in years. They were perceived as women who had finally stood up to him. Kody versus the world. Throughout it all, Kody would not apologize. Cameras recorded him storming out of court, cursing under his breath, refusing to respond to reporters. His pompousness only made the backlash worse. Headlines became more critical. Kody Brown's empire crumbles. Passport revoked, trust revoked. Is this the end of sister wives? The man who had once proudly claimed to be the head of a plural family was now labeled a coward, a manipulator, and a flight risk. And with the world waiting, the pressure built for the ultimate confrontation. The judge's ultimate decision, and Kody's breakdown. The courtroom fell silent, thick with tension. The gavel came down again, and all eyes were on the bench. The judge's voice rang out across the room, harsh and calculated. "Mr. Brown, this court has received testimony from your wives, your children, and considered the money before us. What we observe is a pattern of neglect, dishonesty, and uncontrolled behavior. You have demonstrated disrespect for your commitments, and now the law must act." The bombshell orders. The judge went on, every sentence a blow to Kody's pride. Passport held permanently until all inquiries are concluded. $3.2 million in restitutions for unpaid taxes, fraudulent transfers, and misappropriated family funds. Coyote Pass taken into court hands until ownership conflicts are settled. Complete IRS audit ordered, stretching 10 years back into books. Travel limited to within the state until further notice. Gasps filled the courtroom. Robyn's hand went to her mouth. Janelle took notes, her lips pursed. Christine gave way to the faintest, grim smile. Meri closed her eyes, as if decades of humiliation were being finally repaid. Kody was seated immobile. His face flushed red. Veins bulged in his neck. Robyn's collapse. Robyn crumbled first. She sobbed openly, clutching her papers, whispering through tears, "They're treating us like criminals. We're not criminals." But her words carried no weight anymore. The sympathy that once shielded her was gone. The judge ignored her. The wives ignored her. Even Kody refused to comfort her. Kody's outburst, then Kody erupted. He slammed his fist on the table, his voice booming across the room. This is all lies. This is betrayal. My wives framed me, they poisoned the court against me. I am not a criminal, I am not a scam, and I will not be treated like this. The gavel came down on the judge's desk. Get hold of yourself, Mr. Brown, or I will have you held in contempt. But Kody didn't relent. He glared at Christine, Janelle, and Meri, spewing venom. You think you've won? You think you've killed me? You can't live without me. The courtroom gasped. Cameras recorded every moment, the red face, wild eyes, the disintegration of a man who'd lost everything. The judge's final blow at last. The judge delivered the final blow. Mr. Brown, your conceit is staggering. Let me make one thing abundantly clear, you are no longer in charge. The court is in charge. Your passport is confiscated. Your finances are tied up. Your property is confiscated. And if you even suggest running away again, you'll be sent to prison. The gavel came down for the final time. The courtroom exploded. Journalists sprinted out of the building, yelling into cameras. Supporters outside yelled in victory. Inside, Christine, Janelle, and Meri shared one quiet nod, years of suffering now justified. And Kody? He slumped back into his chair, white, shaking, embarrassed to the world. While the wives exited the courtroom, Robyn stayed behind, her eyes fixed on Kody. Between her sobs, she uttered one haunting phrase the cameras recorded: if you run, don't expect me to follow. The ensuing silence was deafening. And so, just as the tale started with the judge's suspicion, so it finished with the world wondering the same thing? Would Kody Brown go ahead and run anyway? Aftermath, open questions, and the teaser for what comes next. The courtroom was deserted now, but the reverberations of the judge's ruling still resounded like thunder. Kody Brown, former self-styled leader of a plural empire, was left naked. His passport relinquished. His assets locked up. His property confiscated. His liberty curtailed. The man who had once boasted of dominance had none. Christine, Janelle, and Meri exited side by side, bound together as fans hadn't witnessed in years. Their faces spoke volumes: relief, vindication, even victory. For the first time, they weren't wives fighting over morsels of love, they were survivors exiting the devastation. Robyn trailed behind, mascara smeared, hands shaking. The woman once protected by tears and favoritism now stood alone, embarrassed by the man she believed would defend her forever. And Kody? He slumped in the courtroom chair, his eyes on the ground, a shell of a man who lost his wives, his dignity, and his future. The lingering questions the gavel had dropped, but the questions were just starting. Would Kody comply with the judge's decree, or would he risk everything to escape? Would Robyn stick with him, or had she finally had enough? Would Christine, Janelle, and Meri push harder, demanding criminal charges or even jail time? And the most frightening of all, was this really the end of Kody Brown's dynasty? Or the start of something sinister? The answers weren't known. And that wasn't known was what kept the world hooked. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think that Kody Brown is actually going to run? Or is this just the final humiliation of a man who thought he was above it all? Leave your comments below. I'll be adding the good ones in the next video. And don't go anywhere, because in my next breakdown, we're going deep into the $5 million IRS scandal that might ruin what's left of the Brown family empire. You don't want to miss this, trust me. So click that like button if you believe justice has finally caught up with Kody, press subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the truth, and share this with a friend who still buys Kody's spin. This is not the end of the sister wives saga. It's merely the beginning of the biggest collapse reality TV has ever witnessed.